Well, most of us grew up reading the book, The Diary of Anne Frank.
Well, now newly discovered writings from her diary, as well as survival accounts, are interwoven to create a contemporary story.
And we have two actresses who play the mothers in the play with us today. Marianne Heinen plays Edith Frank, and Eva Switek plays Petronella Van Daan, a show that is currently playing at the Civic Theater, the beautiful Meyer Majestic Theater in downtown Grand Rapids. Thank you so much. How is the show being received so far?
Wonderfully.
Wonderful. Yes.
We've had great audience and great response during the show. And when the show is over, when we leave, people stick around. They look at the exhibits that are there that are wonderful, that came from Detroit, Michigan. And they came there. We have them on loan. And they're wonderful to look at because it gives you a lot of historical things that happen through the years of the time of the Holocaust.
Well, and you know, it's interesting because we all remember growing up, we read the book, but how is this different? I mean, it sounds like you really get a perspective about what that life was like as Anne was writing that diary.
It truly gives you a whole different perspective. It's coming from a young girl. She's between the ages of 13 and 16 while she's in hiding. And in this show, she really portrays, and you will see the true feelings come out of this young child who was growing up. You will find out some of her feelings of not only being afraid, of course, being in hiding, but also just her sexual feelings and what is changing and going on within her emotionally. Her relationship with Peter, who was also in hiding. Peter is the Van Daan's son, and just her relationship and her feelings with him. So it brings out some true feelings that maybe have never been portrayed on stage before. And it's been very revealing.
Well, the Civic Theater is just amazing. And as actresses, you're both playing mothers, and you have that in common from different perspectives, somewhat. You know, was that difficult? Because this is a very emotional book and an emotional show.
It is emotionally draining.
It is.
But it's been...
We're on stage.
Yes.
And you look at what is probably going to happen to my son, that he only lived to about 16 years of age, and that he will perish, and that is very sad.
Heart-wrenching. So people have until January 30th to see the production, and the tickets are available at the box office. In fact, you can see here the tickets range in price from $14 to $25, and you can visit the website grct.org, the Grand Rapids Civic Theater. And it sounds like it's really a great lesson in history.
It is a very good lesson in history. It also, there's some comic relief in there, so it's not always, you don't always look at something that is sad. There is some comic relief, and there is also heart-wrenching scenes, so there's a variety of things that are happening that you're not just coming to the theater to be sad, you're coming to the theater to see some history that occurred.
Wow. There's a lot of dynamics going on between the actors on stage as well, between the families, but also between the actors. And so you see that and how that changes from the beginning to the end. Imagine if you were in hiding, never seeing being outdoors. They did have a radio, so they could have some outside contact that way. But if you were so confined, and you can imagine how your relationship with other people will change over time, and hopefully that's what we're portraying in this production as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's a wonderful classic book.
Thank
you so much, ladies, for bringing it to life and giving extra meaning, some really important lessons.
That's right, and congratulations to the Civic Theater for tackling such a really emotional story.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
This is 8 West.